black. GSL. Kaboom, baby! Go on.
Hey guys, and welcome to the second day of the GSTL semifinals. I am Wolf, with me is Calidor, and we're here ready to start today.
Indeed, we have a very interesting match at hand with StarTale up against Team FXO, and the starting players today are already kind of set the pace of the entire match. We have Life up against Gumiho, so two very strong opponents in game number one.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that they want to start things off with a GSL champion, but sometimes when you start off strong, you can finish strong as well. And using Life first, I think, is such a cool idea. He's so young. He's got this spark about him. When you see him in the booth, it's like, this guy is who they chose. I really like that. But on the same hand, Gumiho being the starting player is also pretty awesome.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you send out Life, you want him to face Gumiho. So if there was one player who actually tries to take down the Terran player from Team FXO, the strongest Terran player of the team, then it would be Life. So for StarTale, everything works out quite well here. And what they, of course, want to do is to set out Parting to kill Linok.
Yeah.
I talked to Parting earlier a little bit about how he thinks the match is going to go today and asked him if he was trained as a sniper for Linok, and he says he would really love to come out against Linok, but at the same time he feels really confident against Terran these days, so he's like, okay, maybe I'll come out against Linok, but if there's a Terran player who does really well for FXO, then I'm absolutely confident that I can win against him too.
That's really awesome, actually, that you were able to get that insight. I actually got this studio a little bit late today. I ran and dove into my chair like a secret agent or something. Here's our team information, of course, for today, popping up on screen, so you guys, if you're not familiar, can refresh yourselves about the race distribution of both teams.
There we have the captains, Bomber and Lucky, the two of them, and if you just look at the lineup here for StarTale, they have 5 players in Code S, whereas FXO has only 2 of them in the GSL Premier League.
Look at the total players in roster, 25 for StarTale. They have so many players technically that they could come out with, they could bring to the studio today. When you think about it that way, it's like, well, there are 25 people on the team, oh my god.
It's actually quite funny if you look at these players at the bottom left for StarTale. It's a very well-rounded roster, and you can see a Zerg, a Protoss, and a Terran player being the main contributors and the most valuable players for Team StarTale. Whereas for FXO, it is of course Tier with his win rate in the GSTL and also Gumiho.
Yeah. You know, Tier is, I like to call him the wildcard Protoss for FXOpen. He's someone you can definitely send out as a sniper. And even if he wins that sniping game, the next game he plays, it seems like he's just out of control. What is he going to do? It's so hard to prepare for him.
Game number 1 today is being played on Cloud Kingdom, so a decent map for Terran versus Zerg, and Life, of course, playing in his strongest matchup here, the matchup that won him the title in the last season, GSL champion. So the StarTale team with a lot of champions, WCS Global Finals won by Parting, was quite happy about it.
Yeah.
It was actually really funny because I talked to him a little bit and we have still this inside joke going about his mouse, and at the global final he told me, okay, listen up, if I win then I'm going to buy a new mouse. So I talked to him earlier and so what are you going to do? Are you going to buy a new mouse? And he's like, I don't know, I really like my mouse, but on the other hand I think I'm going to get one of the new StarTale mouse right now and it's not going to be pink. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, he's probably starting to get a little bit concerned about that pink mouse now. Everybody's looking at it all the time. He's always on stage, he's always winning everything.
It's just funny. It's just this inside joke that we kind of have, and it's pretty cool. Here's the StarTale team. Here we have them, Bomber, the captain, and of course you can see in the background there's Squirtle.
Look at them with their jerseys. They actually just look like so fit in a row. Alternating with who has the poppy jacket on. Is that intentional? Wow, look at that.
I actually don't know if it's intentional, but it's actually
It looks cool. Nice though, for sure, whether it's intentional or not.
Yeah, talking about jackets, one of the things that you will see when we have the FXO players on camera is that they also have a new jacket.
Yes.
This is pretty smooth. Leonok had something on his back and I tried to remove it, but it didn't really work, and I told him, he's like, yeah, I know, there's something weird with my jacket, I have to get a new one probably. He was a little bit unhappy still that he lost at the the quarterfinal of the GSL, but he's going to IPL anyways.
Look at Curious's new hair, by the way. I think there's never been a better change for programming your hair ever. He gets hairstyle of the year with that.
He had that already at WCS Global Finals. I saw him practicing before the tournament started, and that's one of the things that I noticed. I think he actually changed the color again because he looked a little bit weird in the internet cafe where most of the ball gamers were playing. I made a little bit of fun of him. He's like, yeah, I know it doesn't look as I intended, but I think he actually re-dyed it when he came back to Korea.
He definitely changed a little bit. Also, just looks a little bit more natural now, but I gotta say, best hairstyle of the year, if I had to choose right now, would definitely be his change. He looks like a new man. He looks so good. I mean, just look at him there in the center. But we're about to take a look, of course, at this team's roster that they have to choose from today. They've got so many good players on that bench. It's hard to imagine this team not coming out number one.
You could see Hack actually at the top as well on the bench, and to the top right we saw Parting. Now we have a quick start with the Terran players here. Bomber, Hack, Sound, and a Sparta.
Yep. Bomber, a great captain to have as a team. Now, of course, two Processes. You'll never forget Squirtle and Parting. Both Code S players, both very strong.
And the Zerg plays with Suoshin, Curious, Pet, and Life. Life being the starting player today.
Yeah. You know,
the thing with Squirtle is that these days he seems, I don't want to say in a slump, but he has seen better days. He is always the player. You look at him and you see a champion, you see someone who came in second place at the GSL already, who's really strong, and then he participates in a lot of tournaments where you expect him to do very well, but in the end, he kind of falls, I don't know, he falls out of the tournament a little bit too fast and doesn't go as far as you would think, so it's not really a slump, but he is underachieving these days a bit.
Yeah, I would say so. And, you know, we saw that Zerg lineup, actually, with so many good Zergs. But before that, it was just Curious. Now you've got Life in the picture, and you've got Suoshin, so the Zerg lineup is a little bit more fleshed out. Here is FXOpen, the opponents, in their new jackets, coming out here to play.
Matching pants as well, the whole outfit here. Lenok to the left, Choya, of course, being the captain, the manager once more. In the middle you can see Gumiho, our starting player today. He lost a lot of weight, by the way.
Yeah, he did. He's probably been really focusing on that a little bit.
I like it a lot. It looks sharp.
You know, I think the new jackets actually suit the team much better than the old ones. The old ones seemed a little bit too cheesy. I'm not sure how to describe it, but these look very good, especially with that logo on the back. I love it.
Yeah, and that logo on the back, that's what's kind of wrong with the Lenok's jacket. Well, yeah, as I said, what really impresses me a lot is that Gumiho was apparently able to lose quite a lot of weight. Always impresses me if someone is able to do that. It takes a lot of discipline.
It takes a lot of discipline, a lot of motivation, and you know, you gotta have friends on your back for that. I bet these jackets, I haven't been able to see them close up just yet, not really, but I would love to see them close up because the way the logo is on the front, I bet that looks awesome. Look at the Razor logo on the sleeve as well, really well designed.
We're starting things off with our Zerg players, looking at the lineup a little bit more in detail, as Lucky is the captain of the team. And here they are. Lucky, Lenok, Sirius, Whale, and JKS.
Yeah, a very nice lineup of Zerg starting things off here. Now we've got our Protosses, Choya and Tyr. Choya probably not going to come out as he is the coach, but you never know.
Now Terran players, the starting player, Gumiho, the best NASD. ASD doing really well so far, but I feel like Gumiho is still the best Terran player in the lineup, and he's being sent out first today, so we have this epic starting match between Life and Gumiho. That's such a great game. Usually you expect a player like Life to come out a bit later, but StarTale on the other hand, they have so many good players to choose from. I feel this is going to be a really intense match, and it all depends on how well Gumiho and I think especially Lenok are going to do today for Team FXO.
Yeah, I agree. I want to see Tyr, man. He's always one of the most exciting players that comes out for FXO because you don't know what to expect. He's like Tails in that regard, except even more so than Tails. It's like he can't do anything normal. Most of the time, he's got to do something crazy and strange. I really love it.
Tyr is the best player in the team in this GSTL season. He leads the ranks in the individual ranking for his team. He has 3 wins and 1 loss. So yeah, this is definitely a player that FXO has been sent out in the past in the GSTL, and he did very, very well.
Yeah.
Second best player is Gumiho, and also Choya, by the way, both of them with 1 win and 1 loss. Lenok hasn't played this much this season.
Choya, it's funny because Choya actually is not a player you expect to come out at all. But when he does, it's like he can still play. The kid's practicing.
It's just like GSTL follows its own rules, you know?
Yeah.
And that's definitely true for both of these teams. Here we have Live now, today with the white headsets here.
Look at his win ratio, 10 and 5. Not to mention, he is a GSL, Code S, and MLG champion. This guy is pretty scary to face, and Gumiho might be shaken, and his boots, you might have to have 2 towels in that booth because this guy is not someone you want to face starting up.
Yeah, not at all.
Even if you have time to prepare, you know, it's just so tough.
Quite interesting, by the way, talking about the individual ranking a little bit earlier, is that we have on rank 2, we have Parting, 1 StarTale player, but still the first place in the individual ranking so far goes to Yonghwa for Incredible Miracle. And depending on how the rest of the season goes, we might actually have Yonghwa, even though Incredible Miracle is already out, of the competition, we might him win the individual ranking.
Yeah.
Harding needs at least 3 more wins if he wants to be able to take the first spot. Would of course be really important for StarTale to advance to the final.
Yeah, we've only got 2 games left for any of these players who want to push themselves up the rank. So it's going to be today and of course the finals. There's nothing left.
Yeah, and I think Harding is the only one who actually has a decent shot here. Even with an all kill, I don't think any of these FXO players is able to do the same and achieve more wins than Yongwa so far has. Which is actually really, really interesting to me. Here we have Gumiho, the Towel Terran, starting for Team FXO today. He looks strong opponent pinned up against him.
He looks good, you know, in the booth. He's smiling. He looks focused. Is this Nine-Tailed Fox, man? He may just be able to do it. He's had a lot of time to prepare here.
And Gumiho is a very tough opponent for Life to face. Always actually tired, pulling a bit of an ST here. Wow, that's one huge yawn. Oh my god. Better bring him a coffee or a hot 6.
Yeah, he's probably gonna. He needs to open the door so he gets some more oxygen in that room after he just used it all in that one breath.
He's done well against Zerg lately. He just struggled a little bit against the TSL opponents that he faced. Jan and Symbol were both able to defeat him. But if you disregard the TSL players, most of the Zergs that he faced so far had a tough time against Gumiho. But yeah, in the end, he's facing a champion here. He's facing the current GSL champion, and Life once again just sitting there. He always looks like this kid that couldn't care less.
Yeah, he's ready to kill you, but it's like he's a serial killer. The way he sits in the booth just smiling, like he's ready to go, he's ready to do it. The first map, by the way, is going to be in Toon Valley, and Gumiho is bouncing in the booth. He's actually known to this. A lot of FXO players, I think that maybe it's just a team mindset they have. They love to just bounce in the booth, talk to themselves sometimes, just get themselves pumped up, get rid of the nerves. But Life, even though he's so young, he's got no nerves. He's ready to go here. He's not waiting for anybody. Now, the map is loaded. It is in Toon Valley, as mentioned before. This is game number 1 between Life and Gumiho of the semifinals of GSTL Season 3 of 2012. I am Wolf. With me is Kaldor, and we're going to get into the game right away, right now.
Ready. Set. Go! 3, 2, 1, go! Feed my motor! Burning tires! I'm in the
Bottom right of the map of Toon Valley, we have in red the Zerg player starting for Team StarTale. It is
StarTale! Life! StarTale! Life!
Did you just get a double intro?
Yeah.
Man, he's so good, one intro just is not enough.
It's not enough, man. You can see here, he is the Season 4 code as champion of 2012.
Nobody is doubting his skills. Everyone makes a little bit of fun of him about his attitude, at least the Korean players do, but his skill is something that no one is arguing about at all. He's up against the Terran to the top left.
FXO! Gumiho!
The Nine-Tailed Fox, the Towel Terran, cross-positioned to Life.
Yep. And just bouncing there. He's moving fast. He moves fast in-game and out of game. You gotta watch out for this guy. Of course, just talking about IPTL. Of course, GSTL going to be at IPL, or was at IPL actually.
Yep.
Code S is going to be at IPL, so don't be confused. IPTL is otherwise known as Team Arena. IPL's Team Arena Challenge. So there's a lot of different acronyms and names there. I'm like, I hope I didn't make any mistakes while I was describing all of that to you guys, but several different team leagues out there, and I like that.
And do you know what we see on this map? We have Life opening with a pool instead of going for the hatch first, which you usually see in this matchup. A pool first is a bit rare.
Yeah.
You usually do it when you expect your opponent to play maybe a double barracks opening, which on the other hand we don't see for the FXO Terran. No, he's going straight into command center first.
Yeah, his commands are being made as part of his wall on the high ground with that depot. That's when you see the depot and you see the extra SCVs, that's when you know for sure that it's going to be a command center as part of the wall.
You know, talking a little bit about Life and his matches against Terran, you can see that he was able to win best of threes against Ryung, against Baby, without dropping a single map. At MLG, he won against Flash with a 4-2 in an extended series. And the interesting thing is, Flash was able to win the first best of 3 that they played. And I was told by some of the admins that were there that apparently one of the reasons why, I don't want to take anything away from Flash, but one of the big reasons why Life did not really look himself in the games is apparently he had keyboard problems. You know how you usually as a Zerg player, you try to get as many drones or lava out as possible, and then you press one key, you press the key, you hold it, and then just all the lava immediately build this specific unit type. And apparently the keyboard of Life was a little bit broken. There was a problem with his USB or PS2 port. I don't quite remember which one it was. He couldn't hold a key. That didn't work. So he had to press them individually, which completely screwed up his timings in the beginning. And
that's actually crazy that happened.
Yeah, he talked to the admins about it, but apparently after the game he's like, something is broken with my keyboard, can somebody help me to fix this? So this was one of the problems that he had facing Flash in the first series, which was really interesting to me because I had no clue. I heard that after the event finished and I was quite surprised.
Yeah. Well, you know, when something like that happens, it's so difficult because I totally feel him on that. You know, when you are in a situation like this and you have an English-speaking staff and you don't speak English yourself, you're so young, how do you deal with this? It's so difficult to actually convey your problem to an administrator. You need a translator there to do that. If the translator may not have been available, that's always really stressful. By the way, Gumio is going for a very greedy third command center with double gas follow-up to this. And this is actually going to put him a little bit ahead on this map if he gets away with it.
What of course is really important here is that both of these players knew a long time in advance who they are going to face, so Life could prepare, but so could Gumio. They knew about the map, they knew about the matchup, and Gumio definitely checked a lot of VODs to prepare for this map and for this matchup, especially against Life. So this strategy, a bit of a tribute to what he scouted in the VODs, to what Life has been playing so far on Entombed Valley. And we have Life, a Zerg player with all these timings that are a little bit different of what you usually see in a ZVT, which makes him so dangerous.
Yeah, it's very true. He's a risky. I mean, if you take risks against him, that's like you take the risk and multiply it almost. You know, you cut a corner. I don't know if I was casting to you when I said this, but there was a quote that became genius that I said was, if you cut a corner, you give your opponent an edge, which is actually what happens when you cut a corner off of something, you get an extra edge, and that's exactly what you got to be careful about playing against someone like Life, because he is looking for edges, and if he finds an opening, he will come in and just use it. He will do a big attack if he sees that you have been too greedy. He can also take risks himself in response to what you've done.
And Life is now going for the lair tech. At 6 minutes he started his lair and he's going into 4 gas in total, which usually indicates at this time that you want to go for some kind of Mutalisk build. It doesn't really have to be, because he is already on his way to get the +1 armor upgrade for his Zerglings, which we sometimes see to counter out the aggression that arrives early on. And there you see that he does decide to go into the infestation pit, which also allows him to get this third base up a little bit safer than usual, but it's a bit late. Usually you want to get it a little bit faster.
Nice control here by Gumio on this Hellion. Make sure that the Lings are lined up before he fires, and he will actually kill all of those Lings. The Hellion will be taken out now, but he made good use of it overall. And Life now knows, of course, Hellions are on the menu. The Spineclaw finishes up just in time to help deal with those. And since he hasn't taken a risky third at all, he is not really going to be concerned about the Hellions. The Hellions are a problem if you haven't killed those rocks, if your creep isn't spread to the third yet, but Gumio's going to use these Hellions, the first few that he gets out, to actually go and check for that third base.
And Gumio does not have a lot of scouting information at this point. He didn't really spot a lot, and with the first Hellion being killed by the Zergling, he couldn't use it to have a quick glimpse of what exactly is going on. With the 4 Hellions that he moves out, that should not give Life a lot of trouble, because his creep spread is already really good. He can now just try to surround those Hellions immediately.
Yep. He's going to be able to get in and see that there's no base here, but that's all he's going to know. Needs to have good control again. Gets behind the mineral line, but not quite well enough to actually clean his Lings up. He does get chased down and killed.
That was really well done by Life.
Yeah, great trade for Life there. Now he's going to be feeling pretty happy because he's got a third base that's morphing so safely. He's got his investors coming out right now as well. He knows that at this point he can basically drone up to heart's content, because there's no way that Gumio is going to be able to pressure him or attack him that he has to worry about. Like you said, the creep is spread is so good, it's getting close to the watchtower now. He's going to be able to connect his bases, and this attack is going to be shut down.
We have missile turrets now being set up in the main base of Gumio, and this is of course also a bit of a tribute, because he doesn't really know what's going on in the main base. There could be Mutalisk play, but I like that he's also building this missile turret at the front, because even if now Life starts to go for one of these infestors with burrow attacks, there won't be any chance that he actually gets up the main ramp.
Yeah. The Infestor's now moving across the map. I wonder what he's got planned walking across the map with these Infestors. You know, we talked about the burrow, you talked about it just briefly. Is he going to actually try to get away with that? That's such a risk. He needs to pull back now. He gets the fungal off, but...
He has the Xel'Naga Watchtower vision against the Hellions now. Catches them with another fungal. This gives the Zerglings enough time to go for a surround. But yeah, Gumiho, as I said, he looked at the VODs and he knows this is something that Life really likes to do. This missile turret at the front makes a lot of sense, therefore. But he doesn't protect the third base.
Exactly. He is going to get a wall, it looks like, at the third base. Life is putting on some really interesting and unique aggression with these Infestors, just sending a few lings with them and fungling Marines. He's trying to trade really efficiently while he gets his fourth base up, so he can get ahead in economy while damaging his opponent's army. He's so safe about, as long as he doesn't lose Infestors, I love this trade.
A fourth base coming up for Life, so he's really putting on aggression and at the same time playing it very macro-oriented. He just wants to apply pressure. He doesn't want to kill me. He does as much damage as he can, but then he retreats again. And yeah, Wolf, you're right. As long as those Infestors don't die, everything is completely fine.
Yeah, he doesn't even try to force his way up here with the Infestors this time. He's trading his lings. Not so efficiently, but the important thing is the Infestors are still alive. He didn't lose a single one. He's going to be very careful with them here. He actually drops Infested Terrans on the high ground using a burrowed Zergling for vision here, just to continue to be annoying to keep Gumiho off his back. Meanwhile, at the third base, he's got some more burrowed lings over there as well.
Oh, these Infested Terrans doing a great job against the Marines at the top left, but we have Gumiho with a bit of aggression on his own. Oh, no cancel.
Yeah, I think he thought he could defend there, but he was microing at the other location at the same time. That's rough. No cancel on that hatchery.
That missile turret apparently was cancelled or killed by Gumiho's units. This is a little bit awkward because earlier we had Gumiho, with Life units. Earlier we had Gumiho just trying to build a missile turret right next to these burrowed Zerglings at the entrance to the third base. Another good fungal by the Zerg player, making sure that this job is not going to be a threat to his economy.
Yeah, this Viking in the middle of the map is in the wrong territory. He's trying to find some overlords, but he is definitely going to get killed by some Infestors. I think he knows that. Gumiho knows this, but he just wants to burn some Infestor energy actually on the Viking, so he just sends it across here. Does get taken out in the middle of the map, as you guys just see now. And the missile turret has been made at the third base as part of the wall, so he's got not only the wall, but the vision. I really like that. That's so important.
Life is getting his fourth base a little bit later than he originally intended because of what his opponent did. And now we see Gumiho heading out with a job that does not feature Marines but Marauders. And this is really good to either dodge the Infestor but also to snipe buildings.
Oh my god, that is a great catch. At this stage of the game, to get that many Marines and get away with his Infestors needs to... Oh, he fuggles again!
And he has the Xel'Naga Watchtower. He can use this vision.
I can't believe he got away. Life is so good with his Infestors right now. He's got 14 of them on the map at the 14-minute mark.
Here come those Marauders that I talked about, and they are designed to snipe this hatch. They're not going to go for the drones here. They really want to kill this hatchery.
Yeah, the hatchery is targeted by Marauders here. He's going to get it if he targets. He stops targeting.
This is a little bit awkward. He could have killed it easily, but now really still able to do it? I don't think so. It's going to be close. He will.
That was the moment where the FXOpen team said, Gumiho, you switched off your targeting computer, what's wrong? And he said, I'm fine, nothing's wrong.
But now Gumiho is in an awesome spot because the problem for Life really is to get this fourth base. You can still take down a Terran opponent if you have 3 bases. Linux shows this over and over again on Antigua Shipyard. This is a bit of a different map, but Life is a bit uncomfortable now. He's like, I want to have my 4th base. I need this extra income. If I really want to afford everything in the late game, I need to have the extra gas.
We have a really interesting situation with upgrades right now. Is Gumiho at 2-1 for attack and then armor, whereas his opponent is on 2-1 for armor and then attack, with +3 on the way ahead of Gumiho here. So he's going to be ahead, and upgrades Life is pretty significantly, especially if he starts... well, hold that thought. There's a small little burrow here. Life is so good at burrowing Zerglings to force scans. Now, if he traps these units with Infestors, he will. If he can get a few chain bungles off on this, he's going to be in great shape. He's going to get an excellent trade.
He's still saving his Infestors, doing a really good job. They're dropping the Infested Terrans, now running in with the Zerglings. Moving back again, but trading energy now for a few units.
He lost no Infestors in that fight. One of them went down to 2 hit points, but I can't believe he didn't lose a single one.
Yeah, but still, Gumiho is still in a decent spot, and he goes for Ghosts, which I really like. We covered this. Wait a second, we have another engagement here as Gumiho moves in and tries to force the creep back, and of course also the units of Light.
Yeah, Gumiho is one of the only players who will go for Ghost in the late game, not only for the EMP but also for nukes. He's researching a nuke right now, in fact.
With nukes, especially on this map, you can put a lot of aggression on the Zerg. It's something that Maru Prime loves to do. Did it really successful against players like Curious, for example. But one of the problems that you have with Ghosts when you want to go for the EMPs is that the Infestors are so much bigger compared to the High Templars. They are still really useful. The EMPs can be great if your opponent is clumping up those Infestors like Life does.
Yeah. Speaking of clumping up his Infestors, all his Infestors here together. Here he loses one, but now he's got the ability to funnel. He loses the second one here. He's being a little bit sloppy now. He needs to push this back. He actually has Broodlords, but they're not close enough to really help out in the fight.
Yeah, and Gumiho is playing a great game here, but now he's getting surrounded by the Zerglings. Another good funnel by Life. But the problem for Life really is that his economy at the 4th was so late, and this gave Gumiho enough time to establish his own economy, get his upgrades up, and he is never only attacking at one spot at a time. He's always sending out another force to hit one of the expansions.
Yeah, he takes down the natural hatchery now, and of course, the drops are just going to elevate here to the main. He will eventually be cleaned up, but this is more time Life has lost to put on aggression of his own. He's got 3 Zerglings burrowed in a row, 1 at the natural, 1 at the ramp coming out of the natural, and 1 at the 4th base. So he's got great vision of where there is an opening, where Gumiho may have a weak spot, and that's exactly what Legend just showed you guys, the one over there. There's a missile turret finishing up though, so he will now see that.
It's time for the nukes. The Ghost moves in. Both of these players actually playing excellent here. Really good play by Life and Gumiho. Gumiho with these multi-prong attacks that do a lot of damage, and sending out these Marauder drops has done so well for him. Now this nuke completely unscouted by Life.
He has no idea.
It's gonna hit. Tick, tick, boom!
Oh wow, he got actually 13 kills with that. All of the drones, of course. And he also damages the hatchery if he wants to go and snipe it later. Another nuke going down, looks like defensively this time. And this is not going to actually work out.
It should not work out. He should see it. Life sees the nuke.
I think he's out of range of those brutes, just barely cancels it as well.
Cancels it, but it was well done still. A little bit defensive. I think Life saw it and did not comment. One of the reasons why he didn't. 2 more nukes being built for Gumiho. He can definitely afford them.
Oh, good EMP here, and another EMP hits home. Not so much invested Terran energy anymore.
This is really great play by Gumiho. This is exactly what so many Terran players did not do in the past. But Gumiho, he is doing really well with his strategy. The Infestors now without energy can't bundle, and this is exactly what the Marines need to dart in and take down Broodlord after Broodlord.
All these Corruptors are going to die if he doesn't pull them away. He loses several. There's no Vikings here, but it looks like he just decided he doesn't need them. Right now, Life is down 50 supply, and Gumiho has an excellent army. He's moving across the map, but there is a slight run by here, but the bunker, he should be okay.
No matter how this game ends, if Life wins or Gumiho, I really hope Terran players are taking notes and looking at Gumiho's style here. This is really a very good way how you can deal with the Infestors if you have good positioning. It's a very back and forth game between the two of them, but Life is falling so far behind that Gumiho can now use this army that he has to hit the 4th once again.
Yeah, a good funnel slows this down, but Gumiho can just pull back and wait for his second wave of units. A lot of his units in the red. He needs to wait for a little bit more healing. He's only got 9 medevacs, and yeah, that's actually a lot, but a lot of them are low on energy because they've been healing so much, and some of them are actually just sitting back at home idle at full energy. He doesn't have them with his army.
Harding said earlier that he thinks Life is one of the best players in StarCraft 2 right now, that this kid is so good. He's really a bit afraid for Team FXO, but Gumiho, with the style that he showed us in this game, is doing so much, and Life is really struggling. He's now down 50 supply, which is just an awful scenario for a Zerg player facing a 4-base Terran.
By the way, Legend just highlighted something very important, which is something I touched on just earlier. Both his medevac rally and one of his barracks rallies were set to an army unit, and then when that unit dies, then your rally just goes back to its original location. So he's got medevacs and Marines sitting at home that he has not been using this entire time. That could have really helped him potentially even finish the game after that last engagement. The 2 medevacs sitting back at home, actually he's got 4 back there, all in full energy. They could have really helped out healing those units.
One of the reasons why Gumiho is so mobile in this game is also because he neglected tanks. He decided to not go into tanks, but instead go for the additional attack, go for the upgrades a little bit faster, get those additional medevacs out there. We have 13 right now, and of course the Ghost and the nukes. So he just decided to completely switch up what he spends his money for.
Yeah. There's a triple drop here to the right side, which has been spotted. It looks like he's gonna bail on it. I don't think he's actually gonna try to use it. He actually is gonna go for it.
That drop could do so much, Wolf.
And it could have been cleaned up. It was actually neglected by Life.
But there we go. Here come the Infestors. This time there are no ghosts for EMPs, but still, Gumiho can do a lot of damage. He's still supporting this attack with 3 medivacs.
And the Infestors now all over there, but they're not here to protect the Broodlords anymore. Oh, the Banelings do not have speed. They're taking so long to actually come in and connect with this army.
And the base is dead once more. It's just Gumiho always going in, taking down hatch after hatch, targeting the economy at the 4th, the economy at the 3rd, and Life is struggling to sustain his income.
Yeah. Gumiho trying to target down the Greater Spire here. It looks like it will be saved just barely, but it's very vulnerable for a follow-up attack. Down to 200 hit points here.
What a great game, Wolf. An awesome opening match here at the GSTL. And these Marauder drops, again, he's sending out another one.
Yeah,
they are so awesome at sniping buildings, and he wants to snipe tech structures, and he wants to snipe bases.
Yeah, you're right, and this time he will be able to snipe that Greater Spire. You can even get the Baneling Nest if he wants to. I don't think even these lings can stop. He drops, though, a little bit too far away to target, so he will be saved.
Just barely intercepted at the right point by Life. He's still at 160 supply. Gumiho is up in overall supply, but it's an economy for Life now that he was able to get his base at the bottom left. He's on 5 bases now. The same is true in just a few seconds for his opponent, though.
Yeah.
Gumiho building another expansion.
Gumiho is playing insanely well in this first series, but Life, even though he got behind by 50 supply, it looked like he may be dead. He knew how to hold on here. This is another double drop. Coming in for Gumiho, he is attacking at every single angle, constantly putting on pressure. Meanwhile, going for another attack at the natural with 5 medivacs.
This one medivac attack has not been spotted just yet, and he's going in. Another base dice. It's just Gumiho. This is a relentless barrage of attacks designed to take down tech buildings and bases, and it works. It works so well for him. He is still ahead with nearly 200 supply. This, on the other hand, might just shut him down.
Exactly. They're getting a great funnel off on all of these units. The Duke, though, will it be spotted? He's got to pull the Broodlords away.
There's nothing to spot. There's no Overseer. He has more ghosts that snipe the Overseers. And oh my god!
Oh, so many hits on these units. Now he can snipe to try to finish them off. The Overseer is here.
Trying to take a few of them down. One Broodlord dies. Another one bites the dust. But in the end, the ghosts are dying. They die the death of heroes.
Yeah. You know, Life's economy is shattered right now. He needs to take a good engagement or Gumiho is going to overwhelm him here. This drop will definitely get the Greater Spire if he goes for it. He keeps going for the main instead. Now he's going to split into 2 groups. This may be too much for Life.
The Infestors are on their way. In total, we currently have 15 of them in the match. But the Hammer Crash is already down, and there are so many units with good bundles. And also, of course, those Infested Tyrants, he might be able to take it down. But the Greater Spire is dead. And if the Hive now dies, it will take an eternity for Life to get his tech back up.
Yeah, and right now it looks like the Hive may very well die. Another nuke goes off at the 4th, and Life, can he deal with everything at once? It looks like he may just not be able to. This is the 6th nuke now that we see right now being called down. He can't even get his units back over here to defend. 5 drones go down in the hatchery. He's down to 500 hit points.
He saves most of the drones on the other hand, and the second nuke did not hit home because it was spotted. The ghost was spotted and then annihilated. But still, look at Gumiho here. He is at 178 supply, but on the other hand, Life, as amazing as it might sound, he's not out of this yet.
Yeah, he's not out of it yet because he's got these Infestors. He's been able to keep them alive so well. He still has 13 of them on the map. They're energy units, but without the... Oh, good EMP here on those Infestors. But without the Greater Spire, you can't make these Corruptors into Broodlords, so they're not as useful as they look in army supply.
And we have now both of them with still the same amount of resources lost, which is quite amazing if you think about it. Gumiho's attacks have been good so far, but he is also losing a lot of his army. Yeah, the nuke is not going to do anything here. And this time now it's time for Life to actually go and try to kill one of the bases.
He needs to grab these SCVs. If he can get them, that would be excellent for him. He wants to, he tries, he barely cannot.
But now he knows that there's something at the bottom left. He has to know, with the movement of his opponent's workers, he has to know there is a base.
Yeah, he's got to realize that, of course. And the Corruptors are really good at zoning here against the Vikings, and also literally staying with their name and corrupting a lot of ghosts. He's been using that just so that he gets that extra 20% damage on these units, but they're not that useful in a fight overall.
What an entertaining game. Well, this game is amazing. I love it. If this is what we can expect today here at the GSTL between these two teams, then count me in. This is great. Another attack. Wow, this task force killing the queen. If he can take down the hatch, that's all that he needs to do. It's close though. He's not targeting.
He didn't target. You're exactly right. It's down to 99 hit points and survives. This is a great trade for life, but now he's starting to lose some of his broodlords here. And where are the investors? They're all gone now.
The ghosts, for some reason, are surviving, at least a few of them. So we have this huge force for the FXOpen Terran player. 115 army supply against 90, and now Life is losing a lot. He's trying to reinforce with circlings. The snipes for the ghosts are doing so much damage.
Yeah, these corruptors, as I said before, they're not combat units, and now they're just floating here to die because they can't attack anything.
Life cannot rebuild his army. He doesn't have the resources, and his hatch at the 4th is down to 100 hit points. This is not something that he's confident in protecting.
Yeah, GOMTV may just end it here. He's going to step forward and take out the last of these armies. A good fungal. Another one is excellent.
But yeah, the infestors are dying. They are being sniped by the ghosts, and he needs to save this hatch. If the hatch goes down, then the game's over.
And it looks like it may very well here.
He moves in, he targets, and this hatch is gone. No income for Life anymore. GOMTV, I feel, has won this game. He's trying to take down the units. GG!
Wow. What a game, number one. The Tal Terran emerges victorious, and right now StarTale is going to be thinking, maybe we put Life out too soon. He got a little bit unfortunate with who he had to face first off.
Well, GOMTV, when we saw him in the last game as a starting play, did not do that well. This game was crazy. His entire style centered around eliminating the infestors, and it was really well done. This was an amazing performance by him.
He gave a jersey to one of the fans here, the old jersey. That's awesome as well. GOMTV, you know, when last time he came out first and started getting on a roll, he all-killed Slayers in a finals last season. If he repeats something like that, StarTale is going to be very disappointed.
Yeah, it takes the first win against Life, eliminates a very strong opponent of Team StarTale, and I have to say that GOMTV really impressed me in the last game. It was not like Life making a huge amount of mistakes and playing bad, it's just like GOMTV had the answer.
Yeah, really great ghost play. And you said it best earlier, you said, I hope Terran players start to take some notes about this game, because the way he zoned with nukes, yeah, there were a few times where Life didn't react and a few drones were killed, but that wasn't the big story. The EMPs were much more important, as well as the snipes and the defensive nukes, how they worked zoning-wise. That was awesome.
There are a lot of disadvantages when you try to play ghosts in the late game. If you bring them in the match too late and you're already behind, then it's very hard to work with them. But GOMTV decided to not go for Siege Tank, and all the extra gas that he had went into upgrades, into this ghost tech, and it really worked so well for him. With the nukes, he could zone out his opponent. He was able to take down a lot of drones. At some point, even killed broodlords. So a very well-played strategy by GOMTV.
You know, something to think about, if you think about it in most literal terms ever, when you fight with Vikings, if they get clumped, you get funneled, you're in bad shape, but what's something you have to have broodlords is corruptors. And how do you deal with Vikings? With half of it is the corruptors, the other half, of course, is the infestors. But with ghosts, how do you deal with ghosts exactly? Like, there's no unit that fights them well like corruptors do. If you fungal a ghost, then you got to run it with your lings, but they're so well protected, it's so hard to actually kill those ghosts. Whereas, you know, Vikings are cost-effective, but they're not easy to keep alive.
When he used this one nuke, I feel he had 4 ghosts there. And did he kill an Overseer with the snipes? It's Parting. I talked about it earlier. Parting said he is confident in taking down Lino, but at the same time, if a Terran player does well, he will come out, and this is exactly what he does. Oh god, I love this match.
Yeah, well, Sirius over there on the booth is actually already coaching GOMTV on how to give him a thumbs down if he wins, how to celebrate here. But yeah, StarTale sitting out 2 of their best players in a row. It's a good choice, I feel, because you can't let GOMTV get in that snowball effect. But at the same time, if Parting loses here, StarTale is going to feel very uncomfortable seeing 2 of their best players out right away and losing both of them. It's somewhat of a risk here.
He is confident, though. He won in the WCS Global Finals. He's a rich guy, won $100,000, and now he is up against GOMTV in the second game here, the GSTL between StarTale and FXOpen. Before we head into the game, we have a 5-minute break, guys. Make sure that you spread the word about this match. Also, if you're just tuning in, make sure that you later on watch the VOD between Life and GOMTV. It was an amazing starting game. We are back in 5 here at the GSTL.